Hi there, everybody. This is Mary Kirby with the Apex Media Platform, and I'm on board Row 44's Albatross seaplane. It's used to test Row 44's latest generation technology, and their next-gen technology is, in fact, all on board this aircraft. In addition to in-flight high-speed internet, they have a video-on-demand service, and they're also testing the latest in in-flight GSM. So we're going to put all the technology through its paces and land on Lake Mead while we're at it. So come join us. So tell us about the latest technology on board this aircraft.
Well, it's, you know, we have Wi-Fi service, we have internet protocol television, we have a Pico cell for texting and cell phone call testing, you know, for the ability to test cell coverage. We have video on demand, which we have also just recently started with Southwest in a trial. And as you know, the IPTV that was originally tested on this aircraft is now being rolled out on, I believe, their 400th airplane.
That's right. That's right. They just announced that last week, which is really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Obviously, the programming initially is very sports-oriented, but where is it going to go down the road, especially in light of the new relationships that you have?
Well, I think it'll be, you know, right now it's sports and news, but we'll eventually add, you know, a product for children in flight. We'll add gender-related programming for, you know, programming that might be very specific for women.
Yeah.
Programming that
I
might
like
be
that.
more specific for men, for teenagers. So we can accommodate many channels, and it really is. It's really the airline's decision, because we're providing whatever the airline wants, and the airline will tell us what is the complement and the mix of channels that they would ultimately like to have.
Okay, so you've been going great guns with Southwest, obviously, but of course you've rolled out the in-flight connectivity on Norwegian and on Mango aircraft, and you've got Icelandair as a customer as well.
Right.
Are any of them also going to adopt the video-on-demand service?
I would think so. I mean, it's really, it'll be the airline's call in terms of what they want to do, but I would think, given the stage length of the flights, that they're going to want to have movie video on demand and television video on demand, and the same thing with the Russian carriers that will start in 2013 coverage for Transaero and UTair in Russia, and of course they fly out of Russia, and then the coverage over the North Atlantic for Icelandair. So I think it depends on what you know, whatever the airlines want. That's the beauty of satellite coverage. In terms of the amount of spectrum and then data throughput, we can accommodate a number of different things.
So really, streaming video is very complementary to an in-flight connectivity solution. Go hand in hand, but they can be standalone like Allegiant.
Yes, they can. I mean, you're talking about wireless VOD in the cabin, and I think that's a good solution for people that may not want to. We call that maybe a starter set for people that don't want a full connectivity solution to start with. They can start with wireless VOD in the cabin, and there's, you know, we can put tremendous amounts of content on our servers. The server capacity is almost unlimited.
So one of the kind of complaints lately for all in-flight connectivity systems is that the service is not really akin to what we're experienced on the ground in terms of ultra high speed. Is that because the airlines have not yet laid down the money to buy enough bandwidth, the KU capacity, or what's the reason for that?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, I think the way the systems, and maybe none of us did a really good job, none of our Row 44 and our competitors did a good enough job of setting expectations, but it was never going to be like your FiOS system at home where you might have 25 megs up and down the pipe. That was just never the sort of the prescribed outcome that we were all looking for. So I think airline passengers will have a very robust experience for Wi-Fi, for streaming, but it's just not going to be like the home experience. And in a satellite environment, it would be just cost prohibitive to get it. We could. There's absolutely no theoretical limit to what could be achieved, but the cost for satellites in terms of provisioning and buying space segment would be just too much to get it to be the way it is at an extremely high speed experience at home, but it's going to be more than adequate. Okay, so that takes us, of course, to the whole Ka band equation, and we've talked about this in the past, and you guys have always said that there's kind of an upgrade path to Ka. Yes, there is.
Do we have any Ka anything on board this aircraft right now?
No, there's nothing Ka on the Albatross right now.
Okay.
But stay tuned. We have a very full development plan, and we'll always be more than a KU band company. So we're looking at a lot of different things on the KA side. So. All
right, and lastly, with the in-flight GSM, of course, at the Expo, you guys said you're testing it, but you don't quite see the market for it now. Aeromobile CEO Pal Bjordal recently said some things that actually would kind of counter what you guys were talking about in terms of where the market stands for mobile connectivity. Has anything changed since we talked about it in September?
Not from my end. I wish I could add more, but nothing has really changed from my end.
You hit the link on there for entertainment, and if you want to pick live television, you hit one of the television stations, and this is the live television.
Now, are you carving out a separate amount of capacity for this, or are you just running everything over the IP?
It's 100% dedicated capacity within each transponder for the television.
Wow, yeah. Okay. So there's no buffering, no nothing.
It counts for why it looks good. Is there's really no fluctuation in the available bandwidth.
Okay.
So there's that. We also this does feature video on demand as well. So once again.
So kind of a combination of IPTV and
This isn't the production code. This isn't the production project, but we have video on demand as well. So you can start a movie, and the movie will play.
When the Global Eagle announcement was made, of course, they said they're very hopeful that Hollywood studios will ultimately allow early window content on this. Any headway whatsoever with the studios on that?
I think it's too early. We've had decent progress with the studios with our existing solution, and there's always this trade-off to be made between the solution and what they're prepared to allow as content.
Okay.
So we're in a great situation, I think, in as much as we have good content today, and we also have good industry relations, and I believe that over time, as our solution becomes either more defended, more bulletproof from the studio perspective, and as the studios become more trusting of it, then I think we'll have a better situation even than we have today. But I think with our new executives, their relationships, and the technology which is proving to be very stable, I would think that we're going to have a great situation.
Do you foresee a time when passengers, when they go book their ticket, they would book what type of entertainment package they'd like in advance?
It certainly could be done. That's all really up to the airline, because once again, one of the fundamentals of Row 44 is that the airline owns the customer.
Right. So they've kind of branded on their own, and
exactly
they did.
Right. So we'll have these conversations. Okay.
Your colleague over there said that he doesn't have the rosiest opinion right now of in-flight GSM. How about you? Do you differ? Do you think it's going anywhere?
I think if it's going anywhere, it's getting there rather slowly.
Okay.
I mean, if momentum builds in the US, then it could become an exciting market. I'm not hearing as many people say as they used to say, "Oh, I don't want the guy next to me on the phone."
Right.
They always used to hear that all the time. I haven't heard so much of that recently, but I do think that at a minimum, it would be really nice to have texting.
Yes.
I just think that would be, so many people use it all the time, and we're in the technology development cycle, so I think if the legislation gets to where we want it, then great.
Okay, so finally, speaking of legislation, obviously a number of parallel studies going on. The FAA working group on PEDs in critical phases of flight, FAA working group on mobile connectivity.
Yeah.
It looks like America in general is kind of loosening up a little bit when it comes to What do you think about that? And number one, are you guys participating in any of this, any of the studies right now? And number two, what does it mean if passengers are able to use their device from the moment they take off to the moment they land?
I totally leave that, from that perspective, I leave that up to the FAA.
Yeah.
We have no problem in providing the service or the connectivity in any phase of flight, takeoff, landing, banking, whatever. For us, I think it's something that would be beneficial. And I think, loosening of any of those regulations, as long as the FAA determines it's a good idea, that's great, and we can provide the service. But that's really not our value proposition. It's not to push that. Our value proposition is to provide a good solution that people can believe in.
I should have asked you actually, are you going to gun for line fit operability with any of the airframers at all? Is that worth your while?
Yeah, we are. We're doing our groundwork in support of that. And, we've recently gotten through the whole AS9100 thing, and that's been a big boost for us in our department. We have done some work. We're engaged with Boeing on a couple of things, and I do think that the probability of this getting there, but it's like any line fit situation, it won't be overnight.
Yeah.
So we'll work towards it, and maybe it'll come in incremental steps. And I know that our customers, the airlines, are putting pressure on the airframers to do it. So that's good news for us.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Very well.